Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy and I just got back, as you may have heard in some of my other videos, from a 10-day car camping trip. I do have my casita that I travel in normally, but for this particular trip I wanted some freedom and just to be able to wing it, and it's kind of hard to wing it with a camper in tow when I really just need one parking place that I can camp or stealth camp in. For this trip I did stay in Walmart parking lots. I stayed in hotel parking lots. I did stay one night in a hotel because of car trouble that I had, which you'll hear about here in a little bit. And for the first time ever, I stayed on BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management. It's free camping on them. Several of them had the pit toilets, and that was about it, but a nice, safer place to stay, kind of off the highway. So I did attempt a few of those, first time ever for that. It was a fun experience for me. I went from Texas up to the Oregon coast and back down. This video is sort of the highlight reel of my trip, and one of the things that I can recommend if anybody ever gets the opportunity. This trip, when I left the house, was not planned out. I didn't know from day to day where I would be staying, what state I was going to be in, let alone where I was going to be spending the night. So I had a freedom that I had not had in previous travels, and some of the coolest things that I found were things that I was just driving and I saw a sign that said viewpoint this way, and I went to see it because I didn't know anything about it. And some of, like I said, some of my favorite things on this trip were things that were unplanned, and or that someone I met on the beach, a random person, told me, hey, you need to go see this. So I didn't get to go as far north up the coast of Oregon that I had wanted to because of some bad weather. Some early winter weather was coming in into some of the states that I was going to come back through. So I left a little early and still was trying to outrun the storms and the closed roads and what have you. But all in all, it was a really great trip. And like I said, if you've never just hit the road with no agenda, I highly recommend it. There were times that I was not entirely sure where I was going to sleep. In time, there was no signal on the road, but thankfully I was fortunate to have my sister Mary on speed dial, who was my at-home navigator when on a whim I would decide that I wanted to go to a different place, or if, for instance, some of the campgrounds or something that I was going to stay at were closed or there were an issue, as in coming through California, some of the BLM land was closed because of the fires. So she helped to redirect me, and in some of those places I couldn't see, the map wouldn't update, and so she literally would say, you should be on it, turn left now, which was fun. But I was lucky to have her, so shout out to my sister Mary for that. Okay, so I have a funny story about this next video. One of the BLM places that I stayed was very quiet, and I got up the next morning because I was going to hit the road about 6 o'clock, and I went to open my back door and I manually unlocked it, and as soon as I opened the door, my car alarm goes off, and it was loud. I mean, it was bouncing off the canyon walls. You could have heard a pin drop in this place. And actually, the video that's posted right after this, just listen to the lack of sound. It was just so loud, and I was mortified. I couldn't get it turned off by the clicker. Had to jump in the front seat to turn it off, and I was so embarrassed. I just sat in my car for a minute because I didn't want to get out and let anybody see me. I know I woke everyone up in that place. So then I go to the bathroom and do everything, and I get in the car, and I just want to get out of there. I didn't even take all my stuff off the windows. I just want to get out of there. Go to start my car, wouldn't start. Battery wouldn't start the car. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I was so embarrassed, and I ended up finding a nice man to jump the car off, but I was mortified, y'all. Needless to say, as soon as they got my car started, I hit the road and got away from there before I did anything about the window coverings and the things I needed to repack up for my trip. It was so embarrassing. But the path is pretty steep. Like, I'm leaning back walking down here, but it's super exciting because you can hear the coast, you can hear the waves, and it just feels like I can almost touch it, but I still have a ways to go down this little path before I get there. Cannot even describe how stunning this whole place is. It's so untouched. And as you can see, there is no one on the beach with me. Let's see if you watch my So I had a little car trouble. Actually, a lot of car. Yesterday I had to replace my battery, and today the radiator, fan, assembly, blah, 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 went out, and my car's in the shop, so I'm actually stuck here. Not stuck because, oh my goodness, is that really stuck? I don't think so. Car trouble in any place is not fun. I will say that. At home, anywhere. But if you're going to be stranded somewhere, Brookings, Oregon is not a bad place to be stranded. Shout out to Brookings Automotive. Those guys got me in, and I think I took the car in at 10 o'clock one day and was back on the road at 4 o'clock the next day. So I did end up spending an additional night there. That was my one hotel night. But what a beautiful place to be stranded. Okay, this is still part of Chetco Point, and it is so pretty here. And there's no one out here but me on this tiny little cove. Oh, look, there's some pretty water coming up through there. Anyways, I'm on this tiny little cove and there's no one here. It's amazing. And these rocks are just beautiful. destination for me for my trip, or the goal or purpose of this trip really was because I wanted to see the Oregon coast and the beaches. I'm a beach girl at heart, and the pictures look fantastic, so I wanted to go see the coast. So on the video, I didn't include all of my beach stops on the Oregon coast. I just included the highlights on here. I did also visit Arizona Beach, Myers Beach, Gold Beach, and there's something else, but Myers Beach was nice, and I liked it. Gold Beach to me was a little commercialized, and I like to be alone or a little bit away from the crowds, and I found that Harris Beach was my first stop in Brookings, and I fell in love with that beach. Several reasons that was my favorite is where people park, you can't actually see the beach from there. You have to go down a pretty steep little path to get down to it, but it feels more secluded, and you can walk for a long way on the beach and kind of just be by yourself. It wasn't super crowded when I was there, and like I said, it's in every direction you look, it was just nature. Whereas in some of the other beaches, you had a big parking lot behind you, and you could turn on either side and see lots of people and buildings and things. So for me, that's how I rate my beaches. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and seeing some of the things that I saw that were noteworthy. Don't know that I'll do a 10-day car camping trip in the near future. It was it was exhausting. It was fun but exhausting, and also can't take the pup. This is Buttons, if you've probably seen her in some of the other videos. Can't take her along with me on the road like that. Not very easily anyways, in stealth camping. She's not a quiet one sometimes. And if you liked what you saw and would like to see more, hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification, and we'll see you next time.